Hi guys, it's Sam and I'm back with another video for lawnfawn. Today I am going to be using the new Yappy birthday add-on, stamps and dies, Yappy birthday stamps and dies, and the Let's Toast pull tab add-on dies. I am starting, as always, by coloring my images. I am using Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. The paper I'm using is Strathmore Mixed Media Vellum Surface Paper. All of these puppy images are adorable, and I have 5 puppies here. I honestly wanted to stamp and color them all. And even though I did narrow it down to only 5, it still is a little bit of a crowded card. I'm not gonna lie, I probably should have only used 4, but they're so cute. I couldn't make the cut. I just couldn't make the cut. So anyway, I'm just starting to color my puppies. All of them are going to be a little bit different. The first one, I gave a little bit of a patch around the eye, around some of the legs, the tail, and the ears. This one is kind of like a reddish brown color. And of course, they all get the pink cheeks, and if their ears have the space, I color a little bit of pink in the ears. This little puppy, I am calling a husky, but it could be a corgi. I'm no puppy expert. I only have cats, but I decided while I was coloring it that it reminded me of a husky. Anyway, I'm just using like very light grays. And then even for this little floofy part, I did an even lighter gray. And this little shaggy fella is a little bit of a darker gray puppy, warmer gray, if you can kind of see the difference between the gray dog on the left and the gray dog on the right. The one on the left is a cooler gray, and then this one is a warmer gray. It's just a little bit of a difference. I didn't want to color them all with the same colors. Plus, this little guy has a tennis ball in his mouth, and it's adorable. I decided to just color this one in like a mustard color, a light brown color. I assume, I don't know what kind of dog it is. Is it a lab? Is it a little doxy? I don't know, but I love it, and it's so cute, and this is the star of my card today, so I had to just go to town coloring him up. I was like, okay, next I'm going to color the doghouse. However, before I knew I was going to color it red, but before I wanted to start using my reds, especially with Zig colors, red could have a tendency to bleed if it is next to a color and you're using water or whatever, it's going to bleed in. So I decided to color everything, like the little paw print, the shadow of the inside, and the little awning first, along with the banners, and then color it with my red markers so that to avoid the bleeding. Otherwise, everything would just have a little shade of red, which has happened to me before. That's how I knew to do the red last on this big image. As always for my reds, I started with a dark brown for the shadow, and then my carmine red, and then the little orangey red with a very almost dry, but a little bit damp water brush to pull out all the red colors. And I'm also coloring the party hats and the bow ties in a rainbow order. You may think I should have colored all the reds first, all the oranges. I forgot as I was coloring. Yeah, I planned on it, but as soon as I finished the last little party hat, I was like, oh yeah, bow ties. Let me grab those markers again. But I mean, the images are so small and easy to color. It's no trouble. I just thought that would have been smart if I had planned to color them all at the same time. Oh well. I then decided to color in the rest of this banner. I'm continuing the rainbow color scheme from the banner on the doghouse. So, pink, orange, yellow, and then the greens, blues, purples, and back to the reds and oranges and yellows. And this, like I said, this little guy, he's the star of my card because he's running away with the party decorations and causing a scene at the party, but I love it. I colored this dog bowl blue. Spoiler alert, I change it to a minty green, like the party hat right next to it. As soon as I colored in the cake image after, I just couldn't see the blue there. So when you see it change when I go to place the images, just don't be shocked. I've warned you, it is a mint color. I don't end up using those bone cupcakes, though I do think they're freaking adorable, and I'm saving them so I can use them on a different card. And the last thing I'm just coloring up are these balloons, which almost didn't make it on the card, but then I found a spot for them. I die cut them all out, and now I'm just going to ink blend my scene. So I'm using the large slimline with sliders dies, and I die cut out the smaller rectangle twice, once both in white, and then I use the Grassy border to die cut from one of the small rectangles this little strip of grass so that it had the little stitching around the edges as well. And then here's my other white small rectangle I die cut out, and it's going to be the sky, and I'm just using Blueprint Sketch to ink blend the top, and then peacock feathers below that, and back in with the blue, back in with the peacock, and then at the very bottom is salvage patina, which is my favorite. It's just a little bit, the grass is going to be there mostly, but it is going to peek through a little, and I'm just lining it up to make sure it shows okay. I'm doing the very, very edge at the top of the sky with wilted violet, which will lead me to ink blending the large rectangle of the die set. It's going to be the extenuation of the background, basically. So I'm doing more wilted violet at the top. Once that is pretty good length, I'm going over the whole thing with Blueprint Sketch, which just kind of adds a shading to the top without doesn't take over the whole color of blue. It still has a little bit of a soft purple peeking through. Then I realized I don't need to ink blend the entire thing because this small rectangle is going on top. So then I switched to just the sides and the bottoms, making sure that the grass and the green area kind of line up when I put them on top of each other. Same colors for the grass, twisted citron, mowed lawn, a little bit of pine needles, just a tiny bit. And you can see it kind of lines up pretty good. For the large rectangle, I decided to add a little bit of a starry background. So I'm using the Lots of Stars stencil with the same color in wilted violet, but also a tiny bit of black soot to make it a little bit darker in the background. And I just think stars and birthday parties, perfect combination. What's so fun? And I'm just filling in a little bit of the holes I saw that I wanted to add just a few more tiny stars with wilted violet and black soot. And now I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment using the fancy wavy borders dies. I die cut it from vellum, and I'm using the sentiment from Yappy birthday add-on. I am manipulating the stamp, easy to do with the clear stamps. I'm manipulating it to fit the wavy shape and just lining it up to make sure, yep, that it follows the curves. And now I'm going to heat emboss it in white. And first, you got to get rid of that static so the white powder doesn't stick everywhere. So that's all I was doing. And then I'm just going to stamp the sticky embossing powder, and then I'll pour the white powder on top of it. And there's my sentiment. And that's basically what the card is going to look like. But I'm showing you, I'm going to use the Let's Toast pull tab add-on to make that little puppy go back and forth because he's running away with the with the banners. So here I just die cut with the straight line once and then twice to extend the length of the slider. Then I'm going to use the pull tab die piece to cut a little pull tab, but you'll see I did not think enough ahead and it's going to be hanging off. It's not going to fit flush basically when I add the tab, which I am totally fine with. But if you want to remake this card, scoot everything back a little bit. Scooch it back a little. I die cut the little T shape and the stabilizer piece from some 110-pound cardstock. And I'm using a bone folder along the perforated lines just to make them easier to fold together. I also die cut the pull tab little piece on top. And now I am just going to make sure that my little puppy, who will be on the slider, it doesn't show any white behind it from the die cut. So I'm just using a pencil to kind of outline where I have to cut. It's very, sorry. It is very loose the way I am drawing with the pencil because I don't want to get pencil on the white outline of the die cut. So there is my pencil lines. I'm just taking my scissors and I'm just going to little snippy snip so that the puppy is only showing when the slider mechanism is through. I don't want any white showing. So I've trimmed it out first time. I'm going to line the puppy back up on there. And I can still see a little bit of white through the puppy. So I'm just going to snip a little bit more just to make sure, like I said, I don't want the effect of the scene ruined by a little bit of white showing beneath. It just takes a few minutes to, correct that. Now you can see, look, oh no, I did not plan appropriately, and there's not enough room for the entire thick stabilizer piece of the die set. So I snipped a tiny thin piece. I don't even know how thin, so thin. And I'm going to use that. But first I had to remember, when you pull the slider part out, it's going to show, and I didn't want white to show. So I'm just using the same blues I used for the sky so that when I pull it out, the sky continues. So that's what I'm doing there. Once everything is the blue, like the sky, with the distress inks again, I'm going to attach the slider part to the card. I keep saying slider part. It's actually the pull tab. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm folding over the tab pieces using my bone folder to just make sure those lines are crisp and flat. Sticking those wonkily, bet you didn't know you were going to hear that word, wonkily cut tabs through the slot. And then with that teeny tiny thin piece of the stabilizer, I am going to attach it in between the end of the straight slot and the tip of the pull tab semicircle. And I'm just going to fold it across the pull tab itself, add a tiny, tiny bit of glue, really strong glue, which is from Lawnfawn, and that way it'll keep it in the right spot so it won't go, the slider won't get all loose. And now I'm just moving it to make sure I didn't glue it together, and I didn't, and look, it works. Then I am going to attach the puppy to this image. No white shows, so good on us for correcting that and testing it out again, because that's the best part of the card. And it goes back and forth. Nothing is glued together. Perfect, perfect. And he's so cute and party and a little bit of a klepto with those ribbons. So the next step is to add foam tape to the background to make sure that there's room for that slider mechanism to move without being encumbered by any other papers. So I'm using foam tape, and then I'm going to double layer my foam tape. So here's the first layer, and now I'm going to take all the release paper off and then put a second layer on top just to make sure there's lots of room for the pull tab and, no issues. You can put your finger under there. Next, I have to trim that extra piece from the pull tab. It will stick out. Like I said, it's not going to be flush, but I still like it. I think it's great, especially since it's the small rectangle on top of the large rectangle. I think that little piece sticking out makes it even more obvious and easy to pull and make the scene go. And now the fun and magic. We are just going to put the card together. Yay! I don't use any other foam tape on the card because with the double layer foam, it's got a lot of height. So now I'm just going to attach everything with my glue tube. That cute little howler puppy with his birthday cake in the bowl, mint bowl. And I'm lining up all the rest of these pups. Like I said, I probably should not have used this last little puppy, but I couldn't resist. I could not edit myself. And then I'm sitting here thinking, where should I put the banner? Where should I put the balloons? Maybe the balloons won't make it. They do make it. I put them right by the pull tab, and I think that's adorable. It's just like an extra surprise. And that's the card. I cut my 110-pound cardstock to shape to add my, card part for my slimline card. And I'm just going to attach that on top, and I'll have a nice little white border all around. And that's the card. Look at this cute birthday scene. It would be perfect for anyone. I mean, this would turn a cat person into a dog person. I love this little pull tab and how it looks like he's running away with the banners. It was so fun, and it just cracked me up the whole time. I hope that you like this card, and be sure to check it out on the Lawnfawn blog. Thanks again. Bye.